Hey, how you doing? We're trying this YouTube live thing to stream some bad weather in Kansas City, Missouri. I don't know how it's working, how the audio is working. But we've had an icy mix of sleet and rain, and I'm going into the city to pick up my wife at her workplace. If I'm early, I may stop and have some coffee. Love coffee. I'm here with the two doggies. Oh, I wonder if I can switch. I'm here with the two doggies. Hi, two viewers. And this will probably jar. That's Jimmy. Say hi, Jimmy. And Stella is hiding somewhere. Where's Stella? Come here. And there's Stella. Stella's a little shy, right, Stella? Shy. I'm finishing up what I was doing here. Send a camera roll. My little vlog. And I'll do that in a bit. Turn the camera back around so I can go back to the dash. My hand in the shot there. Hey, there's a thumbs up. Thank you. Probably like the doggies. You doggies are loved. I have an external microphone hooked up, so I don't know how good it's the audio is picking up. We're in the north part of the city right now. Not North Kansas City, but Kansas City North. And sorry about the jitteriness of the iPhone. I don't have it super well mounted. Plus, these newer, bigger iPhones, they're really, when you hit a bump, they they overcompensate for it, I think. This is US 169 highway, heading southbound, and it's light snow, and the roads are so I just saw that I'm having connection issues. I don't know how this chat works, but when we come up here, there's an area called Briarcliff. It's kind of a luxury housing area, if you know what I mean. And for some reason, Briarcliff has no cell service, so we'll lose our connection on what we call it, the Briarcliff Hole. That's H-O-L-E. It's a hill that comes into the city, and after that, hopefully, we'll be able to see that we'll have the Missouri River off to our right, the Burlington Northern Santa Fe yards to our left. I know you can't see the doggies completely here. If Jimmy would scoot over. Oh, Jimmy's stubborn. Ah. You're stubborn, Jimmy. Stella, come here. Stella's also stubborn. She's back on the floor again. There she is. No. Can't let the doggies distract me. So here, upcoming is the Briarcliff Hole. It's a hill, but we call it a Briarcliff Hole because we don't have any cell service. And I found that with Sprint and Verizon. This is 169 South, I-29, 71 South interchange, I-29 North. It's off to our right, on the right of the screen. We're passing under it all now, and over it at the same time. It's quite the interchange here in the Northland. And the roads are okay. I wouldn't say they're the best. You know, you think roads are okay until you hit that slick spot, and then it's all over. So we're gonna try not to do that. We have an all-wheel drive vehicle. It does pretty good in the snow. You know, things like what this guy has done, trying to beat me on the ramp. There's no reason for that, and he could have easily gone behind me. That's the kind of stuff that causes accidents on these roads. You got to watch out for that. I didn't expect him to do that, so he had to get ahead of me for some reason. So here is the Briarcliff Hole. It's actually it's a very beautiful spot, a nice hill. Some good vistas coming into the city. It's one of my favorite drives in the city. The US 169 heading southbound. Jimmy, why are you hiding your head? So that the internet will get spotty at any moment here, any moment now. But you can see what I mean by the beauty of this spot. How the road is kind of cut into the hillsides, and it's really pretty in the fall. But I love it better in the spring. Winter days like this aren't bad. And then now it's kind of like the gateway into the city. I don't know. I forget what this art here is called. It's Kansas City's 1% for art whenever they do construction. And these are kind of like I think it might be called Gateway. I'm not sure. Somebody else will have to tell me, I guess. Pretty bad of me to not do my research before I do this thing. And in a second here, we'll climb over the hill, and you'll be able to see the Missouri River off to our right, and Burlington Northern Santa Fe Yards to our left. And we call this area Planes, Trains, and Automobiles after the movie, because you have the highway in the middle and the trains, and then up about a mile or so is the downtown Kansas City Airport. So quite often you'll see trains moving, cars of course, sometimes even riverboats, and planes flying overhead. It's pretty cool. And you can see what I mean by the view into the city. It's just gorgeous. Even though it is gorgeous, there are quite a few accidents on this stretch of road, and sometimes this road gets locked up for hours because people, I don't know what they do. They get into these little bottlenecks up here and they try and take it too fast. I'm actually surprised that we did not lose our internet connection in the Briarcliff Hole. I'm going to cruise through downtown and then maybe stop at YJ's and get coffee. This highway 169 becomes a Broadway once you cross the Broadway Bridge after the airport up here. You can see the downtown airport. There's the Airline History Museum, and they have an old TWA Constellation, which is a 4-engine propeller airplane. It used to be used for passenger service. Flew in and out of this airport here in Kansas City. And they are restoring a Lockheed L-1011, I believe, which is an interesting aircraft. Wide-body jumbo jet, one of the first wide-body jumbo jets. And there's a, looks like, is that a snowplow? Who knows? We'll see here in a second. Yep, it's some sort of snowplow. I don't know if it's city or what. It's MoDOT. It's like a light duty. It's probably spreading salt. I haven't, you know, there's the snow and everything is so light that all I've seen them do is treat the roads with salt and stuff. So, and it looks like it's working. We don't know what it'll be at night. Oftentimes at night, turn the windshield wipers off. They're not needed. Oftentimes at night, temperatures and things tend to freeze up, and then the next day after a snow or winter storm is the worst day. There's the downtown airport. So now the Charles B. Wheeler Downtown Airport. Charles Wheeler was the mayor of Kansas City in the 70s, and I believe he's still alive. They named the downtown airport after him. It used to be Kansas City International Airport, or actually, I think, I don't know if it was Kansas City. I think the airport that is now KCI is actually, its acronym is MCI, which stands for Mid-Continent Airport. And this is the Broadway Bridge. I love this bridge. However, this bridge is old as far as bridges go, and I think the plans are in the works to replace it. So I think it's a beautiful scenic bridge into the downtown area. This is the Missouri River we're crossing over. And we are now downtown. Take Broadway south through downtown. And sometimes, not always, it's better to avoid the highways in weather like this, but Kansas City it's pretty notorious for the secondary roads to be not treated at all. So yeah, you're avoiding the rush hour, people being crazy and causing accidents, but you might end up stuck somewhere. So, or you could ride the bus. Buses, you don't usually get stuck. If buses start getting stuck, then that's really bad. And we have seen that here in Kansas City. Crossing over into downtown, a lot of lofts. Like this used to be Folgers Coffee over here on the left. Now it's called the Roaster's Block Loft Space. We miss the smells of the coffee plant. It would make the whole downtown smell like a big coffee house. Lots of interesting architecture downtown, very pretty. Kansas City is one of the first markets for Google Fiber. And we have over on the left here, when we stop, the old Coates House Hotel, which was a luxury hotel. There used to be an opera house, catty corner, on the southwest corner of this block. And apparently, or supposedly, there's a tunnel that went from the Opera House into the Coates House. And the Opera House is where all the stars would come and perform. And they built the tunnel so they could get from their hotel to the stage of the Opera House without being exposed to the public and paparazzi and everything else like that. And Coates House is named after a developer who built everything from Broadway West in this area, also known as Quality Hill. It was at one time one of the ritziest neighborhoods in Kansas City, but when we moved to Kansas City in the 70s, it had declined to become one of the worst neighborhoods in Kansas City. And then in the 80s, developers went back through and spruced it up and tore down a lot of buildings that were falling in. And I don't know. I think they tore down too much, but who knows? I'm not a developer, not an expert. And we are by the convention center downtown. And over on the left here is Bartle Hall. Atro Bartle was also a mayor of Kansas City. and he was called the chief, I believe, because he was a fire chief, but also because he was the chief of the tribe of Mikase, a program for the Boy Scouts modeled after a lot of Native American tribes, mainly the Sioux Indians, who Mr. Bartle was personally friends with and modeled his program after. And up on this walkway up here, I don't know if you can see it, it looks like there's a big man standing in the middle. Well, that's actually a statue, and that's a statue of Atro Bartle, and he's facing the other way, looking out the window like he's out looking over the city. Named after him. A lot of people think he was a good leader. And we're coming into Power and Light District. They went to revitalize downtown. This building over here on the left is the Power and Light office tower, built by the electric company, Power and Light. And this district here, from here west, is the area where a lot of money has been poured, a lot of public money as well, to develop and revitalize downtown Kansas City, Missouri. And we are leaving downtown and coming into what's known as the Kansas City Crossroads. Kansas City Crossroads is an area, I believe it's named after the crossroads of two old auto trail roads, the National Old Trails Road and the Jefferson Highway that cross through here. But also, most probably, it was because all the major highways kind of crossed through this area. And at one time, when people would stay in downtown Kansas City, all their livery stables for horses were down here in this area, and eventually transitioned over into automobile, light industry, automobile type stuff. This is if you went to go buy a new car in Kansas City or a used car, you probably came down here, or if you were looking for car parts. And it became an industrialized area, and then went through a long period of decline. There was a time in the 70s and 80s when you could almost buy a building down here for nothing. And then in the 70s and 80s, because it was so cheap, photographers and artists started moving in and creating studio space. And by the 1990s, it started becoming a big thing, and it became a catalyst for revitalization of the whole downtown area. It's a very typical story. And now, real estate and property is so expensive in this area that that the artists can hardly afford to be down here anymore. And now it's a lot of loft spaces. There's still quite a few art galleries, and every first Friday of the month there are the First Friday Art Walk, which is very popular. And over here is the old TWA headquarters. Kansas City was the headquarters city of TWA, and this is that rocket on the top was actually, it's a replica, but the original was put up there by Howard Hughes, who originally owned TWA, and that's called the Moonliner. And he built it for his buddy Walt Disney. And Walt Disney is also from Kansas City, but it lives here. But anyway, so we're here, we're queer, get used to it. We're gonna get some coffee.